Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Rebecca Bosla, CHW's Director of Marketing Communications. Can everyone hear me? Everyone wave? Okay, great. I'd like to welcome you to our Social Media 101 workshop. This workshop is going to teach you the basics of social media, so hopefully you'll leave here today excited to share stories and posts with family and friends. Keep in mind that we will be hosting an intermediate social media workshop next month for anyone who wants to delve even deeper into this subject. And now I'm going to introduce CHW's marketing coordinator and your guide for tonight's workshop, Jaden Siegel. Over to you, Jaden.
Unmute. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm Jaden. Nice to meet everyone and nice to see everyone. Before I dive into my workshop, I figure I'll give you a brief introduction to give you a better understanding of who I am. Since graduating from Western University this past June, I've had the pleasure of working with CHW as their marketing coordinator. I have a passion for helping others and I have a passion for making an impact, so this is the perfect position for me. During my undergrad, my studies focused on the intersection of human behavior and media communications. Basically, I learned how the technologies that we use today to communicate and gain information have an influence on our lives in ways that we may not even recognize. During my time with CHW, I've been fortunate to participate in projects that engage my sense of leadership, communication skills, and awareness of my impact on others. By promoting our messages and helping to sustain the face of the organization online, I feel connected to our impact. And that's what I'm here to show you today, how you can make that same impact for things that you care about. Today's presentation is meant to be a broad overview of the social media basics. Some of you may have more familiarity than others, and some may just want to be joining us, which I love. The goal is to provide you with an overview that will translate into a fun and useful way on how to use social media. There's lots to talk about, and don't worry if it doesn't all sink in today, because we'll be sharing the presentation later and there will definitely be a part 2 coming soon. So let's begin. Let me just get to sharing my screen. So, Social Media Workshop 101, the basics. Basically, today we're going to learn how to navigate your social platforms with confidence. 1, what is social media? As many of you may know, social media is a way for people to communicate and interact online. It facilitates the sharing of ideas, thoughts, and information. It's called social media because users engage with it and around it in a social context. This can include conversations, comments, likes, shares, and reactions. Who is using social media? Basically, there are 3 different pillars of, I'd say, types of accounts of those who can use social media. Starting with influencers, we have accounts that you see online, whether they be celebrities, whether they be brands, or people who are starting their companies online and trying to promote a product or trying to advocate for things. Maybe the most popular example we can see is families like the Kardashians, who basically built their brands online using platforms like Facebook and Instagram. Next, we have organizations, companies, businesses, people like CHW who use the platform to advocate and demonstrate how their brand does their work, how to maintain their mission and their vision, and using many different strategies to gain more followers and volunteers and donors. And then there's people like you and me who can use social media on a personal basis. Starting with CHW on social media, which was the main point of this webinar, is learning how you can be sharing our content to advocate for things that you care about. So on social media, we have building relationships, engagement and action, storytelling, and sharing impact. Those would be the 3 main pillars of how CHW uses their social media to interact with followers. Nonprofits require continuous support to work effortlessly on their mission and vision. To get that support, relationship building is an essential part of our social media marketing strategy. You can follow certain tactics to gain supporters' trust, which helps build a relationship with them. It's an essential step to enhance the organization's credibility, and it helps to gain the trust of the donors, stakeholders, and supporters. Through continuous efforts, you can grow your community of supporters by recruiting new people online. Next, we have engagement and action. Social media for nonprofits can help you generate awareness amongst the masses about your organization's objectives. It enables you to turn awareness into action. Online, you can post a variety of content that relates to your organization's mission, and you can create a greater impact by continuing to engage. Through the use of visuals such as posts, stories, videos, reels, anything that we find online, you can tell your organization's story in front of your supporters. This can result in a greater impact by gaining more and more supporters for your organization. For organizations like CHW, education and advocacy is one of the first steps of creating change. Advocacy is not something that you can stumble upon or buy. It is earned over time through continuous and positive engagement. Advocacy is also the nirvana of social media, and it is through advocacy that your efforts start to truly scale and grow. It shows that your brand is doing such an amazing job that your customers shout and want to advocate for you. Shouting from the rooftop, sharing their opinions, and expressing their experiences with their networks. Next, we have storytelling. Storytelling can help build the image of the organization and at the same time, make organizations' activities more transparent. This increases the engagement with supporters and can help you to achieve your overall goals. In Canada, social media is one of the most prevalent topics and one of the most prevalent activities. Canada has one of the world's most connected online populations, and social media use in Canada is prevalent amongst all age groups. It's part of their daily routine. Canadians often use social media as a platform to gather, share information, and express one's opinion. If you look at the next statistics, global active users in 2021, there were 4.55 billion people worldwide. That's 57.6% of the world, which is definitely over half. In Canada, 83% of users are online. They spend on average 2.5 hours a day engaging on social media and approximately 6.7 platforms per month. When you think about how these statistics can translate into impact, it's important to remember that 4.5 billion people on average who use social media for at least 90 minutes a day. Think of the volume of the impact that can be made through adopting the right social media strategies. What one post can do if it were to circulate to even 1% of that. Fast facts. So I'd say that the top two social media platforms that at least we're going to be discussing today are Facebook and Instagram. Facebook is the most popular social network globally. There are over 2.8 billion active users, and Canadians are the most active users in the world. There are 19 million of us online. 98% of users access their platform on a mobile device, and the largest demographic of users are those 25 to 30 years old. On Instagram, it's quite similar. Instagram ranks 4th in the most popular social networks globally. There are also over 1 billion active users. 90% of users follow at least one business or organization account, and 83% of them use the platform to discover and access new products and services. Similar to Facebook, the largest demographic are those between 18 to 34 years old. Moving on, we're going to go to social media strategies. So these are some of the top tricks that we can be using when we're online and engaging and posting. So, social media etiquette, the do's and don'ts. When we're online, we want to ensure that all of our account profiles are complete and up to date. A profile that's missing key information or a photo sends a message of uncertainty. And when we're across platforms, we want to make sure that our accounts look similar, have the right information, and are always up to date. Next, we want to make sure that when we're posting, we're always checking for spelling and grammar errors. Your credibility depends on it, and your followers are always counting on you to be credible. When sharing a post, we want to remember to tag any necessary accounts. Tagging notifies your friends and asks for their attention. Not to mention, it also circulates your posts around to other people in communities who may be similar in interest as you. Next, we're going to move on to the don'ts. We always want to avoid oversharing content. No one wants a newsfeed that's cluttered with multiple posts about the same topic. We want to avoid sharing faulty links and avoid sharing misinformation. Like I said, we always want to be credible. Don't forget to communicate with your followers through replying to comments, liking their posts, and responding to their follows. Mutual engagement is truly what maintains the relationship online. Next, we're going to move on to hashtags. Hashtags are words or phrases that are preceded by the number or pound sign. On social media, they allow users to categorize and search for posts related to a particular topic. This makes it possible for you to connect with new users who share similar interests. Hashtags for brand awareness. Hashtags can be particularly useful for organizations to create and maintain brand awareness. A unique and specific hashtag can be used as your central business tag on every social media channel that you're using. For an organization, they can create a campaign-specific hashtag to spread the word about events, promotions, and contests. Maybe one of the best examples I found was KitKat. KitKat uses hashtag have a break to connect with the traditional candy bar slogan with the company's social efforts online. Hashtag have a break. Next, we're going to be moving on to Facebook 101. What is Facebook? As you know, Facebook is a social media network founded upon connection. By sharing content like status posts, images, videos, and external links like blog posts, Facebook users can contribute ideas and join conversations with other people who share the same or different interests. Hold on. In addition to sharing their own ideas, users can engage with others online and with other types of content that people post. They can react, they can share, they can forward it to their own friends, and outside of Facebook, they can export it and share it in an email. Social media has become very simple. From connecting distant family friends to bridging the gap between brands and their communities, Facebook has taken the way we interact online to a whole new level. How are people using Facebook? From those that check the network periodically throughout the week to those who are almost compulsively active, the core driving force to participation is connection. Connecting with colleagues, friends, old and new, alumni networks, and for an increasing percentage of users, even professional connections. How is CHW using Facebook? As you can see, or if you're following us, you may have already seen this, the majority of our content online is used to promote and be an extension of our already existing brand. So for CHW, when we focus on projects that support women, children, healthcare, social services, education, we're always trying to reinforce that message into our followers' heads of how they can support us, how they can be a part of our community, and how they can impact alongside us. Let's walk through it together. Starting with your news feed, maybe this is where I switch over to my phone so that you can see. Here, I'm going to stop sharing. Hold on. Okay. Can everybody see my phone? Okay. So as we scroll, this is what a typical news feed would look like. I created a generic Facebook account so that you could see what it would look like without any of my personal content showing, and mainly because the only person that I followed was CHW, so that you would get the point. So our newsfeed is where all your friends' posts will appear. This is where you'll see updates from different pages that you've liked and where your posts will appear and where your friends can see them. If we click over to menu and we click on our timeline. Our timeline is a personal record of all the posts that you've shared and interacted with. Like I said, this is a generic Facebook account, so I haven't really interacted with it much. But if you were to post online, this is where you would see all of the things that you've shared. You won't usually see friend status updates here unless they've tagged you, but your friends can see your timeline if they search your name. Next, we're going to move on to how to like, comment, and react. So if I refresh my feed and I see this event from Canadian Hadassah-WIZO, which was posted 9 hours ago, this is how I would like it. Obviously, there's the traditional like button, which you would just click like. But with recent Facebook advancements, you can now react to a post. If you hold down and swipe up, we have the option to like, we have the option to love, we have the option to care, we have the option to laugh, we have the option to show a wow, we have the option to be sad or to be disappointed. Obviously, this is going to be a like. Whenever your friends are sharing something on Facebook, you can choose how you want to react to the post. It's a simple way of showing your friends that you enjoyed what they shared, and to like a post, you simply follow the instructions I just showed you. Commenting, same thing. Whenever your friends share on Facebook, you can leave a comment about their posts. Your friends will be able to see whenever you comment on something, as will the friends of the person who originally shared the post. To leave a comment, simply type like this, and then you press enter on your keyboard. Hold on. Okay. Moving on, we're going to go to a status post. Once I'm on Facebook and I want to create my own post, this is how I would do it. So Facebook is all about sharing with your friends. You can share a lot of things, such as a status update, a photo, a link, and even your location. You can also share something directly with your friends by posting on their timelines. Okay. Let's start over with a status post. So like I said, Facebook is all about sharing with your friends. You can share a lot of things, such as a status update, a photo, a link, and even your location. You can also share something directly with your friends by posting on their timelines. Here we're going to learn how to post a status update. One of the most common things that people share on Facebook is a short text-based post to your friends who can read and comment on. When you post a status update, it will appear on your timeline as well as your friends' newsfeed. The two terms status and post are often used interchangeably. Post is the term that Facebook uses to describe something that you share on the newsfeed. Text, images, videos, and location are just a few of the types of posts that you can share on the newsfeed for your friends to see. So, like I said before, if you were to click on what's on your mind, here's where you would create a status post and interact with the multiple different types of statuses that you can create, like a camera roll photo, tagging a friend, showing how you feel, what activities you're doing, and even where you are checked in at the current moment. Once we go to the interactive part later, when we learn how to post a story and a post, I will show you again how we can go through all of these. Okay, next, we're going to learn how to share a story. Same type of thing. Another way an individual user or business page can connect with their friends is through Instagram stories. Stories are short pieces of content that are visible for just 24 hours. After the 24 hours, the story disappears from the newsfeed. So if we were to click here on create a story, it would give me the same type of option as before. I can create something that's already from my camera roll. I could add a text and create something new. I could add music. I could create a boomerang out of photos. I can even take a picture from here and add all of those things onto it. But we'll go into more of that later. Okay, hold on. Okay, Tags, checking in, and sharing. If I were to be in a Facebook post and I wanted to tag my friend, it would be a way to identify on Facebook that they would want to be on their individual timelines. Your friends can tag you in photos and in other posts, including a status update. Anyone who can see these posts will be able to click the tag and view your timeline. The tagged post will also be visible on your timeline, your newsfeed, and your friends' feeds. While tags make it easy to connect with your friends on Facebook, your friends may occasionally tag you in posts you don't want to share. One way to prevent yourself from being tagged is by potentially embarrassing photos and posts is to manage your tagging settings. That is something we will also go over later. Checking in. Like I said, when we're in a post, we can share our location. This would be done by clicking on the red dot. You can share your physical location as well as those you've been to if you were to add a Facebook album with multiple photos from a family trip or event, you can share where it was taking place. Next, we're going to move on to resharing a post. Rather than creating my own post, I could scroll through my Instagram feed and possibly find something that I want to reshare to my friends. For example, if I come up with this post and I click share, it gives me the option to share it in 3 places. The first being to reshare it in my story, the other being to share it in Facebook Messenger through friends in a private message, or I could share it in a group. These are things that we will also go over later. Okay. Moving back, we'll talk about Instagram. Let me just share my new screen. Okay. Instagram 101. Can everyone hear me again?
Yep, you're good to go.
Okay. What is Instagram? Instagram is a social media platform that, like Facebook, emphasizes photo and video sharing via its mobile app. It's all about creating a community of interest and categorizing them through hashtags. Why use Instagram? You may be thinking at this point, what's the point in using Instagram if I already have a Facebook account? Instagram is useful for 2 primary reasons. One, it is simple. Rather than focusing on a lot of different features, Instagram has one core feature, which makes it especially easy to share photos and see photos from your friends. 2 is content creation and editing. Whenever you take a photo on Instagram, you can quickly apply a filter to give the photo a unique look. Filters can help transform an ordinary photo into something worth sharing without much effort. How is CHW using social media? Similar to Facebook, Instagram is a direct representation of our already existing brand. It is here that we post our campaigns, our events, live updates, behind the scenes, interact with our followers, our volunteers, our supporters, share impact, all of the above. But let's walk through it again. The Instagram homepage is what happens first when you open up the app. It is the first thing that you'll see. From here, you can see the latest posts and stories from the people that you follow. You can also tap the different icons at the top and the bottom of the screen to navigate different parts of the app. For example, we have the home screen, the search button, which is where you'll go to the explore page, this video icon, which is where you can view Instagram Reels, which is similar to TikTok, if any of you know. Here we have the shopping bag, which takes us to another feature of Instagram where you can shop directly on the platform. And here, which is where we have our profile. At the top, we have access to our instant messaging, people who have followed and liked our posts, and the button to post directly from here, as well as to create a story. Moving on, we have the Instagram Explore page. The Explore tab is where you can view an ever-changing catalog of trending posts that are shared on Instagram. You can search on Instagram. If you're looking for a specific user or hashtag, you can search on it through here. Instagram liking, commenting, and sharing. To like a post, simply double tap the post or tap the heart below it. I'm going to share my screen so you can see how to do this live.
I think I'm even learning a few new things tonight, Jaden.
Thank you. Okay. Here we have Instagram. Hold on. Okay, like I said, to like a post, all you have to do is double heart on the screen and it'll show a heart to let you know that it's done the job. For example, I see this post that I want to like. I simply double tap to get the heart. Another way of interacting with your followers online and to show them that you appreciate their posts is to add a comment. To comment, it's a great way to let the creator know how you feel about their photo and to interact with them. First, we're going to want to click the comment button, type in our comment here, and click the post button. When it comes to sharing, if I wanted to share this with someone, it gives us multiple ways we can do that. We have to click on this arrow button. We can either add it to our story or share it to our list of followers privately or in a group, depending on your choice. Instagram makes it really easy to create and share great looking photos in your smartphone. We can take photos, we can upload photos, we can create photos. It gives you a variety of options in terms of being creative. If I wanted to share a post, I would click on the plus button, and here it gives me the option to either click post, story, reel, or live. For today's purposes, since it's only the Instagram basics, we're going to learn how to do an Instagram post and an Instagram story later on in the interactive session. For a story, it would be a similar thing. Okay. Moving on, we're going to learn how to upload these. So when you guys received the email link tonight, you should have gotten 2 photos to download that we're going to be learning how to post online. So if there's any way that you want to quickly grab those, and then we can get ready to do some interactive learning here.
I can put them in the chat of the Zoom as well. I'll put them in there in case you didn't have a chance to. Give me 1 sec here. Okay, I shared the story image twice, so just ignore that. So you'll see one labeled CHW story and CHW post.
And if you can't get these onto your phone, which is where we're hoping that you'll post from, you can always just use a photo that you've got already on your phone, or you can take a picture of yourself and share that too. So you don't have to worry too much if you can't access these. We just wanted to have an example for you to use so that everybody's looked the same.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Yes.
Yeah.
So I've gone to my to the picture that was associated with the email. Choose where to share. One says I am a CHW supporter newsfeed, and one says I am a CHW supporter your story.
Yeah.
So which do I click to put onto my Facebook page?
So that would be the one titled newsfeed. But
Okay.
we're going to learn how to share both of them. So if you'd like to download both, that would be great.
I'm going to download both. Okay, let me
There's also there's no right or wrong answers here either, because you can still share the story. Like either one of the image still works. It's yeah, there's no right or wrong. One's just formatted differently for your stories.
Okay.
So, but it'll work the same in your news.
Okay, I just have a paranoia of clicking something and then something goes somewhere and I don't even know where it goes. And I'm just paranoid of this kind of technology. I'm in my 60s. What do you expect? But okay.
So when you click on it, is there an option to save it to your photos? It just says to share.
Yes, that's all it says.
It says friends and album. And it has my name. It has my Facebook name. Say something about this photo. Post. It says post. So I hit post.
Yes, but I will walk you through that in 2 seconds, but we're going to
Okay,
start.
no problem.
Whenever everyone's ready, you can just give me a thumbs up so I can see when we're all ready to start. Okay. So we will start with the Facebook posting first, and I'll go very slowly so that everyone can get each step correctly. But like I said, this video will be recirculating after the webinar, so you guys can always go back and redo the steps if you didn't get it the first time. Just give me one moment. Okay. So first, we want to make sure that when we click on what's on your mind, or first of all, we should actually be starting in the Facebook app on your phone. Does everyone have the Facebook app opened? Once it's open, we want to go to the top of the screen and click on what's on your mind. Once we're here, like I said, this is where we're given the option to choose what type of post we're going to create, whether that be with a photo, with tagged people, with a location, with a feeling or activity, but we can also combine all of these things. So since we're going to start with that photo that everyone was sent, I'm going to go and click on my camera roll where the green camera button is with the photos here. And I'm going to click on the photo that I want to select. And then I'm going to choose done. It should look something like this. Let me know when everyone's good to move on. Okay. Next, we have the ability to write a caption. So for the sake of making it simple, let's type in, I am a CHW supporter. And then we're going to click on the tag button. And when it says, who are you with? Tag one of your friends that you know who is a CHW supporter or someone else you know who would appreciate seeing the post. Just for the sake of having them tagged. You don't have to actually tag them, just so that you can figure out how to do it.
Where's the tag button?
So right again at the bottom, next to where the green photo button is, we see a little person with a plus sign. It's blue. We want to click on that there. And type in their name. Next, when everyone's ready, next, we have the option to add a feeling. So I'm feeling excited that I'm a CHW supporter. If we click on the yellow smiley at the bottom, right next to where the other two icons were, this is where we can choose between feelings and activities. an activity, I'm also attending an event right now, if I wanted to switch that instead of being excited about being a supporter. You see at the top where it says Jaden Siegel is attending an event? That's what it would look like at the top of your post. Additionally, we have the option to add a location. So if you see the red icon at the bottom that looks like a location pin, this is where we can add where we are. So I have the option to pull from a list based off of where my phone knows that I am right now, or I could type somewhere else that I've been previously if the post is from the past. So I'm in Toronto right now. I'm going to type it in and check in. Is everyone following? Okay. Now, if we click up on the button next to the red pin, there's 3 dots in gray. If we click up on there, it gives us the option to choose from a variety of other options. But since the photo, tagging, feelings, and checking in are usually the most common, that's why they're in the top 4. Now, since we learned about the importance of hashtags, this is where we can add a hashtag. Next to I am a CHW supporter, we can click on the 1, 2, 3 in our text. And again, it'll take us to this page. And then again, we get to the hashtag button. And we're going to write hashtag CHW.
Or a pound sign on a rotary phone.
Yes. And then just for fun, we can also write supporter. Everyone following?
No. I need clarification on this hashtag business. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
Can you go
someone-
over that again, please?
okay, so if someone sees hashtag CHW, what does it do? Like, where does it go? What?
So hashtags basically are a way of organizing content online. So even though you may not see it directly as a benefit to adding it to your post, it's a way for your almost Instagram and Facebook to provide you with the content that you want to see, or to share your content with other people who may have similar interests as you. So if I were to write, for example, hashtag supporter on this post, and someone else who may be supporting a different type of organization or charity or business or any type of thing that they're supporting, all of the supporting content will be grouped into one area.
Jaden,
So-
just for an example, why don't you type hashtag Canadian charities and see what the, like when you start typing under the hashtag, everyone can see how, see all these autofill, Canadian art, hashtag Canadian made. See all the different posts that we have under there. So Canadian made has 256,000 posts under that hashtag. So when we start to narrow down and create your own brand hashtags, like her example that she had earlier for have a break from KitKat, those all the everyone who uses that hashtag, like I'm a CHW supporter or CHW, whoever uses hashtag have a break, when you post a picture or you post a video or anything you post online, that'll get categorized. It's like a almost like a high-tech Dewey Decimal System in a way, where your hashtag categorizes your post into a specific category that can be shared with all sorts of people. So if we've got a campaign, for example, like last year we had our CHW SOS campaign. When we make a post under that annual campaign on Instagram or Facebook, and we use the hashtag CHW SOS, you can see all the posts related to that campaign. You could see people's events posting. People were hosting, parties or you know, people who donated and posted online. It's a way of kind of categorizing content online that kind of creates a little microcosm community. Does that make more sense?
So can you put hashtag on anything?
You
Yes.
can hashtag anything. I can
Anything.
hashtag peanut
It's
butter
not
sandwiches.
like
And
a patented
no,
for
no,
each, okay.
yeah, but
I
brands
like
will
to make
have
up
their-
my own hashtags. You can make up any hashtag you want just for fun. It doesn't have to be a hashtag that a lot of other people are using. I created a hashtag for my daughter whenever I post something, you know, on my Instagram, just says hashtag little Lane. That's not a real
So what does
hashtag.
that do? Like, if you make it up, who then sees it and where does it go? This is,
If my friends and family who are following me on Instagram then search for this hashtag, they can then see just my posts that are hashtag little Lane. Or if anyone else happens to use this hashtag, maybe someone else has a daughter named Lane and they're also doing it.
So
so
if I-
more
it's
than one
an easy way
person
for
can
you
have
to-
a same hashtag.
yeah, so if I
Yeah.
wonder hashtag Canadian charities, for example,
Mhm.
you might see Canada Blood Services using that hashtag. You might see, you know, other organizations in Canada using that hashtag. It's just a way of categorizing a post online that kind of keeps it a little more organized if you know, want to get more outreach, you know, get your word out there kind of thing.
It's also a great way to find other people who are have similar interests to you, like Jaden was saying before. So if Daniel was mentioning our SOS campaign, and we would put hashtag empowering women. So any other organization that's using that same hashtag empowering women, maybe they're following the hashtag, which maybe we won't go into on this, but you can follow specific hashtags so that when other people post about these things that you're interested in, it will come up on your feed. So another organization that's working to empower women will see our posts and maybe reshare them, which is a great way for our news feed to get shared, you know, further and further away from us, which is a great thing on social media.
I think a really great example is the hashtag Betty White challenge that just came out after Betty White's passing. People were posting online that they donated money to their local animal shelter in honor of Betty White. Hashtag you're doing performing the Betty White challenge. So this was a very successful campaign that helped raise funds for animal shelters all across North America, the world. So that's kind of the example of the power that a hashtag can kind of give you. Remember the hashtag the ice bucket challenge? That was another big hashtag campaign that came through. So that's kind of where the hashtag comes into play. So if you're making a post about CHW, you really want to try and see or make sure that you use hashtag CHW, because then that kind of tells people that it helps kind of outreach your campaign a little more and gets a little bit of trending buzz going around it.
Great explanation, Daniel and Rebecca. Thank you. Yeah, like I was saying, hashtags are basically a way for platforms like Facebook and Instagram to group content and to find similar content related to your interests, to give your content to other people who may, like you, be looking for the same things. And also it's a way for them to find out things that they may predict you be interested in the future. So I could be using hashtags that are trending now, and they could predict what I may want to see later on, or staying up to date.
Can you tell me again where the location, how you do the location? Like you put, you know, attending an event, but where is that?
So you see the red pin button right here?
Yes.
You click on that red pin and you can either type a location. Like I said, I checked in Toronto, but if you have your location services on your phone, it'll automatically pick up nearby locations to you.
You can also choose like a specific address too. Like let's say you are, you know, you're attending the Sadaka at our table event, and I remember they did their location at the Witchward Barns, I think it was called. So if you were to tag the Witchward Barns in your post, it would come up that CHW did a recent event there at that venue, and people can see, well, what was CHW doing at Witchward Barns? And that would kind of it generates buzz that way too.
I actually used Canadian Hadassah-WIZO as my location. So when I'm also following along and doing a post here. So I started typing in Canadian Hadassah-WIZO and our office location comes up. So, you know, in regular times, we would have done this webinar all together in the office. So I just thought I would use that as my tagged location. So you can also do that.
So when you see on Facebook that, you know, people are interested in attending an event, like a sidebar thing, how does that appear there? You know what I mean? When people are interested or attending a certain upcoming event?
So every time someone likes an event on Facebook, it'll show in everyone else's newsfeed, if they're your friends, that that person has liked the post. So that's why you're seeing that your friend is an attending event. But if it's just coming up that maybe you'd be interested, that is a way that the platform has gathered based on hashtags, based off of your previous activity, that they're going to suspect this may be something that you would like.
We will be having a Q&A at the end of the session too, in case anybody has any extra questions that they want to get across, for sure. But yeah.
Jaden, you showed an event previously that had an interested button on it. So after we finish this post, or keep it for the Q&A later, you could go back and do it, but it's a specific button.
Yes.
That's a good idea, Kathy.
Thank you. So yeah, these are sort of the functions that you can add to your Facebook post. There's really so many ways that you can customize it. But these are sort of the basic tools that you can use. You obviously don't have to use them all at once. I mean, on a regular Facebook post, I probably wouldn't be saying attending or feeling this or showing my current activity or feelings, but it's always a good practice to use hashtags no matter what, even if it's just for fun, and to keep up with the trending topics. So that's why we use Facebook. And yeah. Next, I guess we can move on to creating a story. If everyone wants to click hit post, if they're happy with what they've written. And here is where you can see my finished product. So like I said before, when you post something, it'll show up in your news feed, which is on the main homepage. This is where both you and your friends and followers can see everything that you've posted. But if I'm going to go back to the menu here by clicking on this 3-line button and I click on see your profile, I don't know why this message keeps coming up, but if I scroll down, this will also show in my timeline, sort of like a catalog of everything in order of when I've posted. So this was the first post that I created. This is first in my timeline. Usually it goes according to date. And if I go to CHW, for example, I can scroll down and I find all of the events, all of the posts that we've been doing over the last little while, and most of them are in order. But as you can see, there's different purposes for each type of post. Okay. Sorry, what did you want me to look at before when you said there was something that I could review before we move on? Is there
Just
something
check out,
about an
check
event?
out the events. Yeah, go to the CHW homepage. Another great thing too, if you're not already following or liking our page on Facebook, I would encourage you to do so, because you're going to see updates from Canadian Hadassah-WIZO, including our events, including our our campaign posts. You'll see those things pop up in your news feed, but you'll need to like and follow.
Yeah. So yeah, on my generic Facebook account, I've loved this post, and because I've shown a reaction to it, that's why it's showing that I'm interested in the event, I believe. Because I've shown an engagement. Whereas if I were to click on another event that were, oh, I wonder why it's showing it for here too.
I think it's a button you can click interested, like yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
got it. The more you know. Okay, if everyone's ready, maybe we can move on to how to create a Facebook story.
Jaden, sorry, can you just show how you would edit that post just in case
Yes.
you've made it?
So let's say I've made a mistake and I want to go back and change something. I'm going to go click.
Maybe you have a typo or something.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Let's say, for example, it's been a day and it's not going to show directly up on my timeline. So I'm going to go, sorry, my news feed. I'm going to go back to my timeline and click on my profile. I'm going to scroll down to the post that I created. And let's say either there's something like a typo, like Rebecca said, or maybe I want to remove something or edit it.
I was thinking you could tag CHW in it.
Sure.
So everybody had to do that as well.
I'm going to start by clicking on the 3 dots here. And then I'm going to click on Edit Post. And by clicking on Edit Post, I'm virtually brought back to the main layout of how we started. So if I want to tag CHW, for example, I'm going to go back to that blue icon with the plus sign at the bottom. And I'm going to search Canadian. Huh. Well, I'm not a friend, so maybe that's why. Rebecca.
So how I did it is we can show them how to use the @ sign, because that's what I had to do in my edit post as well. So I think it's because CHW is an organization versus an actual person that you have to do it this way.
So if we're going to do it this way, similar to getting to the hashtag sign, we have to click on the 1, 2, 3 at the bottom here. And here we're going to get the @ logo. And then we're going to type in Canadian Hadassah-WIZO. What's interesting about Facebook is once you click on the tag button or click the @ button this way, it'll automatically provide you with their list of people that they think are relevant to either the post or to people that you interact with frequently or who may be interested. So let's say, for example, I know who I want to tag, but maybe forgetting people, this would be a great way to scroll through and find other accounts to tag if I may have forgotten or if there's maybe new ideas of people I can tag. So I'm going to finish, find Canadian Hadassah-WIZO. It'll sort of highlight like the hashtags there. And then I'm going to click save at the top. And by doing that, you can now see that if I go back to the post and I click on where I've tagged Canadian Hadassah-WIZO, it'll take me straight to their Facebook page. Okay. Is there anything else there? Or are we good to move on? Okay. Maybe now everyone can get out the story template that we sent. This was the longer picture, but if you only have one, we can also post the square. It doesn't really matter. They've just been formatted for each post. So let's get that ready. Give everyone a few seconds. Everyone ready? Okay. So I don't know if anyone noticed, but when I was on the homepage before, there's these 3 buttons at the top that go under where it says what's on your mind. Here we have the option to click through Facebook Rooms, Facebook Reels, and Facebook Stories. Truthfully, Facebook Reels and Facebook Rooms are going to be saved for the advanced session, since I'm not even really sure how to navigate through that yet. So we're going to start only with stories today. So first, we're going to click Create a Story. And here again, we have the option to start a post from multiple places. Now, since this story is going to be uploaded from my camera roll, I'm going to click the image, which is the first one here. And it brings me to this page. I'll let everyone get there. Okay.
How did you get to this?
Sorry?
Oh, how did you get to this? After you do create a story,
Yeah.
what was next?
So I swipe up and I saw the photo in my camera roll,
Oh, okay.
and then I click on the image that I want to choose.
Oh, okay. Ah, okay.
Okay. So once we land here, as you can see on the right-hand side, we have a list of buttons at the top, which are used for customizing the story based off of things that we want to add to our already existing image. So if we click on the top one, we have the option to add stickers, which are really interesting because they're sort of like a unique version of tagging in some sense. If you click on location, which is this button, it gives you the option again to do a similar form of checking into a location like a post. We can type something in or rely on our current location. We have the option to add the time if we wanted to. I'll delete that for now. We have the option to add the weather, to tag people, to donate, which is a really interesting function for organizations like us because people can donate directly from a story. We have the option to add an Instagram poll if we want to ask our followers questions or gather information. We have the option to ask a question, same type of thing. The option to add music if we want to have a song playing in the background of something, or the option to add our feelings, sort of like before. Happy, loved, excited, etc. Now, just below it, Facebook gives us the option to add different types of stickers. So these are similar to emojis, but they're Facebook made, and we can add them and lay them throughout our post if we want, like any of them, or want to search for a kind. We could do that by searching at the top. Next, we can use a GIF, which is like a moving sticker or image, I guess. We could type something in here. So let's say I want to search for support. I can find something like this. I'm here for you. But since Instagram stories are meant to be shorter, bolder, and less cluttered with information, I think it's best to stick to a template like this and to only add the types of stickers that are really important. So for example, in this post, maybe we want to add a location. Again, like Rebecca said, we can check in at Canadian Hadassah-WIZO. By adding that location sticker, we can put this under here. I have also the option to add text. So let's say I participated in the workshop. I can type that in and add it as a text caption for our story. And what's interesting here is that we have the option to quickly edit the way the text looks. So I can change the color by clicking on the color wheel and changing the color of the text. I have the option to change the actual font by clicking on this classic button. And I also have the option to choose where it's aligned on the page. So for all intents and purposes, let's say this is what I'm looking for. And I can place it on top of the bulk of the story.
Jaden, can you show one more time how you got, how you tagged Canadian Hadassah-WIZO there?
Yep. So actually, before I do that, let's see if I want to delete this and re-add it. So Rebecca's asking me to retag. In order to delete something from a story, if you want to change it or edit it, you hold down on the sticker or the text that you've added, and you're going to drag it into the trash can here. So let's try retagging them again. I'm going to go to the top where the little sticker is. And here I have the option to click location or tag. So because CHW on Facebook is an organization page and not a friend, I would have to check in through their location instead if I wanted them to get the notification. I would click on the location button. And I'm going to search, again, Canadian Hadassah-WIZO. And click. And it'll automatically upload it as a button. Now, once I upload this to my stories, if followers are seeing it, people who may not already be supporters of CHW, if they were to click on that button, it would take them to their Facebook page, just like it would on a post if I were to tag them. Maybe we can walk through one more time how to add text. We would do so by clicking just under that sticker button where it says AA, and I can type whatever I want. So let's say this time it's high because I'm going to delete it. So I can change the font by clicking on this button. I can change the alignment of where it goes on the page, and I can change the color to whatever I want. We also have the option to add music. So these are preloaded songs that Facebook gives us for free. I believe that you can also connect it to your Apple Music account if it's already on your phone, and you can choose songs that you have.
Jaden, we got a quick question. Can you place it diagonally?
Yes, you can change anything on the page just by using your two fingers. So let's say that's a great question, actually. Let's say, for example, I want to change the size of the sticker. I'm going to take two of my fingers and I'm going to go to the corners of the sticker and either swipe out to make it bigger. I can change where it's placed.
Like a scissor motion, like opening scissors with your fingers?
Yes, or even put your phone down on the table and go like this and try grabbing at the two corners and stretching them out. But if you wanted to just move the sticker on the page, it only requires one finger and you can move it wherever.
Where is your finger?
For moving it or changing the size?
For moving it?
By moving it, I'm tapping anywhere on the sticker.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Is everyone ready? Or have any questions about this that I can answer?
I have a question. Why would you, I think you said for a story, it's only posted for 24 hours versus a post that stays?
Yes.
So why would you do that? Like, is there, I don't know, why would somebody, what's the advantage?
For people who may be worried about posting too much content or posting the same type of content, having the ability to post a story is just another way of creating engagement. So the beauty of a story lasting only 24 hours is that really it's not leaving a dent on your feed unless you're going to add it as a highlight, which we will talk about when we move to Instagram, and you can still access old posts. But for a regular story, the fact that it only lasts 24 hours makes it a bit more casual. So I guess that would be one of the main reasons.
Thank you.
Okay, so if I wanted to share this, once I'm done editing, I'm going to click share to story. And here, it'll upload. And normally, if I was using my regular Facebook account, this section right here is where you'd see all of the stories posted from people that I follow on Facebook. So because I'm the only person on this account, I'm the only story that I can view. But
the stories never end up in the feed, right? They're different things, right? You scroll horizontally, look at stories, but they never show in the feed.
Yeah, they don't usually overlap unless you were to repost something from your story onto your feed. Right. But you could also post from your feed onto your story and take a post from there. But normally it's not the other way around.
Right.
Okay. And when everyone's ready, we can learn how to do this all on Instagram next. See, I just logged into Facebook and I'm seeing that Toba did this on her Instagram. So this is what we'll learn how to do next. Is everyone ready on Instagram, logged in on their page? Okay, so Instagram sort of has a similar layout to Facebook on the app. Obviously they're different, but we can sort of use some of the same techniques and strategies as we did when we were posting on Facebook. So let's start first with a post. At the top, you can see there's a plus sign, a heart, and then a little messenger icon with the number 1. The number 1 is symbolizing that I have a message sitting in my inbox. So if I were to swipe here, you can see Daniel has mentioned me, who is CHW, since I'm logged in on the CHW account. He has tagged me in a story. So Daniel already went ahead and posted this to his account. He's added a bunch of stickers, he's tagged us, he's created it to be personalized. Here on the heart button, once I go back to the main page, this is where I can see all the people who have interacted with me, whether that be a follow, a like, a comment, people who mention me in stories. So this is where I see Daniel's notification again. And then when we go back for the last time, we have the plus sign. And like I said before, this is where we can post multiple types of things on Instagram, whether that be a post, a story, or a video. But today we're going to focus on the post and stories. So first, we'll click on the post button, which is the first on the list. And it'll take me back to my camera roll. So I'm going to click on the second image, since that was the square one that was formatted for Instagram posting. And if you take your 2 fingers again, like I showed you before how to resize, you can ensure that you are having everything cropped into the post and it's not cutting anything out. So if everyone just wants to make sure that they're having the photo aligned, simply push in or out at the corners of the post using your 2 fingers. And here, I'm going to click next. And this is where we get to Instagram's editing tools. So at the bottom here, we can add different filters to our posts if we want to change the way it looks, such as the lighting. There's multiple options. We can also go even further if we don't want to use a preset filter, and we can click on the edit button, which is right next to it at the bottom. If you see here, they interchange if you click on filter and edit. So filter is the button where you get the pre-loaded filters, and edit is where you can edit the photo yourself. So let's say I wanted to adjust the brightness on this photo. I'm going to click on edit, and then I'm going to swipe over to the brightness button. And here's where I have the option to enhance the brightness or make it less bright. Same goes for the rest of these tools. If I wanted to adjust the structure, which angle it's placed at, let's go back to 0. If I wanted to change the contrast of the photo, there's a variety of different editing tools that you can use to make your photo unique. So because this is just a white background, I'm going to leave it without using any editing. Here at the top, there's a button called Lux. This is sort of like a preset filter / edit that Instagram gives you, basically just like an enhance button. It enhances all of the colors and the way that the photo looks, so it sort of a bit pops out at you more than usual. That I will add to the post. Once I've done editing, I'm going to click on next. And this is where I get to writing the caption, tagging people, adding locations and hashtags, and then sharing. So at the top box where it says write a caption, here again, I'm going to write, I am a CHW supporter. I'm going to add those 2 hashtags that we used before, but this time I'm going to write CHW. I'm going to write supporter. So as you can see with Instagram, which is interesting, let's say I type in a different one. Not only does it give you a list of similar hashtags that are being used, but it also shows you how popular that hashtag is. For example, the hashtag Jewish has 2.1 million posts, when compared to something like Jewish holidays or Jewish history has much fewer. So most of the time, we want to stay with the hashtags that have the most amount of activity. Unless, of course, we're doing it for fun, like Rebecca said before. If I were to create a hashtag that's specific to me and I don't care about who's seeing it or if it's going to blow up and become a trending hashtag, then that's when I would use the hashtags that I want rather than those that are trending. Next, we can move on to tagging people. So here I would click on the tag button. Here, for example, I'm going to tag myself. So I would search in a name at the top and then click on the account. And here, if you hold down and move it around the page, you can choose the location of where you want the tag to be seen. It's important to note that when you do post it, the Jaden Siegel will not show there the whole time. The tag will only show up if you tap on the image and you're looking to see who is tagged in the post. Now let's say I want to add my location. Here's where I would do so, similar to like before. I'm going to check in at Canadian Hadassah-WIZO on Shepherd. The great thing about adding your location to posts, just as much as hashtags are important, I believe that locations are important too, because your content will be shared with people who are in the area, people who are close to you, people who may also be looking at events or things taking place within that location. So it's always good to add as much information as possible, especially for organizations like us when we're not trying to be public and we want people to see our content and interact with it. So I've added my location. Now you can see at the bottom and where it says post to other accounts. If I didn't want to change the layout of my post and I wanted to have the same thing posted on Facebook as I do Instagram, here is where you can connect your accounts. So I have the button toggled off now, but if I wanted to toggle it on, this exact post could also be shared to Facebook if I were to turn this button on, instead of posting it twice. I could do it once. And yeah, once everyone's ready, you can click share. I'm just going to repeat the question quickly and put the hashtag here.
Is that cross-posting? It only works from Instagram to Facebook, right?
You can also do it with Twitter, but I didn't really discuss Twitter today, but I believe you can also add LinkedIn. There's multiple accounts that you can cross-post.
But you can't go Facebook to Instagram. You can only go Instagram to Facebook.
That's a good question.
You can if you are using, I think it's the, if you have a page and you're using like a business, more of a business manager, but I don't know if you can cross-platform from Facebook to Instagram. It's actually a great question, and I'm going to look into it and see if I can answer it by the end of this workshop, because I actually don't know.
Doesn't matter. It just like you just have to think which way to go first. So if the shortcut is start on Instagram and it will show up on Facebook, that's good.
Yeah. Okay, and unless there's any other things that I want to add to my post, I think that I'm ready to click share. But again, I will show you how to go back and edit it if you wanted to change something. So here's my finished post. Now I could edit it right from my timeline by clicking on these three dots and clicking on edit. And here I can change only the caption and the location at the top. So let's say I wanted to add another hashtag to my post, such as in the word supporter. I can do that here and click done. Or if I don't see my post come up right away on my feed, I can go back to my account, click on the three buttons again. Here, I'm given the option to edit who I've tagged, my caption, my hashtags, and my location. The only thing that you can't edit is the actual post itself, the image that you've used. Once that's up, you can't change it. Okay. Awesome. I see some already.
Do you have to create the story separately from the post?
Yes.
And you can't share your,
because they're different sizes usually. When
you can share your post as a story though. So if Jaden, you want to show them how to do that just in case?
Yeah. Yep. So what I was going to say is usually you wouldn't post a story to your feed because the layout sizes are different. But what you can do is post from your feed back onto your story. So let's say instead of creating something new, I wanted to pull from my feed here. What I would do is press this arrow button right next to the heart and the comment button. And I can either send it to someone in my messaging list, or I can choose to add the post to my story. So when I click add post to story, this pulls up the post for my feed here. Now you have two options. If I want to see just the image, you would leave it as is. Or if I want to see the caption that I've included in the post, I would tap once on the picture here. And that brings me to where I can see where the image was posted and what the caption says, rather than just seeing here the square. And once everyone's ready, we can move on to posting a story.
Lots of people posting. That's great.
You have to allow the location. You have to let them know your location. Is that safe?
Sorry?
Is it safe to allow Instagram to get your location?
I'd say it's safe. I mean, if you have a private account, really the only people who can see your posts are those that you follow. But for good practice, maybe it's best not to put your exact location, but put the general area of where you are. Or let's say you're at a public place, maybe that would be a good place to post, but not your home address.
Is that the same for Facebook? Should you do the same for Facebook or not?
Yeah, I'd say it goes both ways for each platform.
So find a place near where you live and put that on.
Yeah, like for example, I didn't write my home address. I wrote Toronto instead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. And then here we can move on to sharing a story. So I'm going to go back into my camera roll. Sorry, I'll show that again. We click on story. Here it pulls us up to camera roll. And I'm going to click on here. Now, even though I just showed how you can repost from your feed, you could also just post separately. Here we have the option with the AA, again, to add text. If I wanted to type something similar to Facebook stories, you can choose the color, you can choose the font, you can choose where it is on the page. Here again, we have stickers, which is where we can add location, we can tag people, ask questions. A lot of people wanted to see how you add music. This is where you would click a sticker to add music. Create polls, add a link. This is something that we've done a lot over our most recent stories, is creating for events. When we want to have the link exactly posted on the story, we add the link here, and that gives people the option to click on the button and it takes them directly to the event page. So those are just some of the buttons that you can add by clicking on this smiley face icon. And if you scroll down, it also gives you the option to add stickers, or again, we can search based off of whatever we want to add. So let's say I'm looking for something happy. I type in happy, brings me all the emojis that I may want. If I go back and I add, these 3 button icon here, I could even draw something myself, which you can't see because my pen is in white, but virtually Instagram stories is giving you the option to completely customize a story based off of whatever you'd like to add. So on this story, instead of adding the location, let's try and add a link. So here, it'll give you the option to write the link that we want to add. So for simple use, let's just write chw.ca. Once I'm done typing that in, I'll click done. And here, I have the link to our website directly posted on the story. That way, any of my followers who may see this post have quick access to get to our main page. Now, at the bottom, you can see there's two options where it says your story versus close friends versus arrow. So if I wanted quickly just to add it to my story, I could press here. Close friends is a separate type of sharing. If I wanted to create a list of my friends and I only want them to see it, I could add it to that list. Or I could click on the arrow and it gives me the option to send this to people in my friends list, as well as posting it to my story. So again, there's multiple ways that you can share this. But for now, I'm just going to click your story. And by clicking here, this is where post lives now. And you can see from today, this was what we posted before the workshop. If I wanted to see who's viewed it and who's viewed it and how many people, all I have to do is click the seen button at the bottom, and it gives me a list of all the people who I know have seen the story that I posted. Yeah.
Sorry, where did you go to see the story that we just posted? How do you see it?
So at the top of the Instagram page, you can either click on your own profile where it says your story. And since I had a story posted before, it wasn't the first one to come up, but it is the second one. Or if you want to go quickly instead of looking for it in your newsfeed, all you have to do is go to your profile, which you get to at the bottom by clicking on the image with your profile image, and then clicking again at the top. And it'll be there.
Okay, thank you.
So even though we talked about stories being unique because they last 24 hours, there is a way to keep your stories active on your profile if you think that they're important enough to be shared always. So that you would do under something called Instagram highlights. So as you can see, above where our posts are, we have little circles that say events, messages, our campaign from the Legacy Circle, the SOS campaign, Why I Give, our projects. So here's just a way of categorizing and storying the old stories that we've posted. So here, if I click on the events tab, you can see all of the events that we are currently hosting, which have all been shared as stories. So it's really a good way of categorizing your content if you think that it's worth keeping up on your profile. But for the sake of time, maybe I'll go into how you can create these highlights later on or next time.
I think that's a good idea, Jaden.
Got here, lots of people mentioning us in stories.
Ooh, pretty.
Very good.
Are we opening it up to the Q&A now, Jaden?
Yes, now we can move on to some questions and answers since we've done all the posting.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions off the top of their head that they would like to ask? You can raise your hand.
I just want to say it was so much fun.
Oh, good. Thank you.
The basic stuff, yeah, you know, but all this fun stuff with the music and the colors and the stickers, it's great fun.
As much as social media is great for staying up to date with technologies and trends and topics, it's also just a great creative way to express yourself. And you
play around with it. Feel free to, now that you've seen how all the different options you can choose from to create a story, try and create your own and add some fun stuff to it.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy, to answer your question from earlier, you can't currently share from Facebook to Instagram, but I've heard apparently that that's going to be changing down the pipeline. So I think with this, not to get into too much detail, but the Meta acquisition of Facebook and Instagram, I think that they're changing some of the shareability between the two apps. But for now, it looks like you can't, but you can definitely share from Instagram to Facebook.
So should we be coming back to you like from chapter stuff if we have events? Should we now be also creating social media campaigns?
Well, it's really helpful if you go to our CHW accounts, like our main accounts, because we do share the events through our stories. And a really helpful way would be if you have flyers or internal marketing materials that are sent through for your individual chapters, to post those things to your social media and to tag CHW. Because if you don't tag us, we don't see that you've posted it, and we can't like get the word out or reshare those things. So it's really imperative that you're engaging with your own social media and using some of the tools that Jaden taught us tonight, like tagging CHW, using those hashtags for your events. Like you could hashtag AOT 2022, those kinds of things. So yeah.
Or if you're like, and they're using At Our Table as an example, if you this year, if it's the same as last year where you have food delivered, when the food gets delivered to your house, you could put it on your table and then like a nice spread and take a photo of it, share it onto social media, tag CHW, we'll reshare it. You could also tag the company that caters. Right, you can use a hashtag At Our Table, all this stuff, right? It's a great way of sharing it. And then once you've tagged us, we can repost it into our story so everyone can see it.
Right. Okay, that's great. We tried to do that through the follow-up in the newsletter, and that would be great. Social media would be way better to do that. So anything that we do within the chapter, we should be tagging CHW, right?
Yes, definitely. Tag us in any and every post that you make about us.
Mm-hmm.
Not only does it give us the chance to see it, but every person who tags social media or uses social media has a different group of followers and a different pool of people who are following them. So the more tags that we get, the more people that we're exposed to and they want to join us. So it's always good to give the right information.
Thank you.
Any other questions out there? Anybody have any other questions or comments or?
Well, like I said, we will be having a part 2. I know that today was a bit hectic getting the sharing figured out and getting all the information into our heads and showing how it's actually done online. So I guess this is a learning opportunity for everyone. Next time we'll have an easier flow of events and it won't be complicated switching back and forth. We can also review some of the same topics that we talked about today, as well as go into different platforms and different strategies of using social media. So I guess, yeah, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to teach you how to post.